I love the idea of biologics. Now, what are biologics? Because I think that people don't really know what they are. Well, here's the deal. Just to kind of break the ice, insulin is a biologic, meaning it's not just made in a lab the way that like traditional synthetic, drugs are, so to speak. They are actually made from either yeast, bacteria, mammalian cells, meaning like living cells, the actual organism of where to derive these types of cells from. So while something like a peptide is a short chain amino acid that can be a biologic, not all biologics are peptides, and sometimes they're like monoclonal antibody can be a biologic. So when you have somebody that has a autoimmune disease, debilitating Crohn's or colitis, not the same thing, but again, sticking just with the gut, and they've got this great drug now called Remvoke, and people are getting into full-blown remission, like actual remission, meaning like for someone like me who's like, hey, there's no cure, there's just management of this chronic back pain. We have drugs out there that target certain inflammatory pathways to basically like stop them dead in their tracks and, seemingly heal tissue. So know that these drugs, biologics, at least you got a guy here who's, training traditionally in exercise science for bachelor's degree and then chiropractic degree. I am telling you that biologics are, the closest thing we have right now to miracle drugs, and people should be researching. People should be reading up on them. People should be learning everything they can about them, because when it comes to certain diseases, this could be and very likely is the answer. And here's what's crazy about it. They're so expensive. And even if you have great insurance likely will not cover these drugs. You probably have to try to kill yourself first before they'll even consider you getting on a trial of these incredibly expensive drugs that they're not going to pick up the tab for. So yeah, you've got to find a way to maneuver through the American healthcare system, Butters reference there for my South Park people, to find out how to get these things. But one thing I can tell you for sure is when it comes to lab testing for that, you've got to be willing to put in the time and put in the work. And I'm talking about you, the patient out there, you, the person who's suffering with rheumatoid arthritis, you, the patient that's suffering with irritable bowel and Crohn's or colitis, you, the person that has lupus, you, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. You have to be willing to get labs consistently. If your doctor is, putting you on some type of a trial regimen where you've, determined that also it's, something you want to try because you can't live with this type of pain anymore, you have to be willing to do the blood work. Is it going to be every 2 weeks? Is it going to be every 4 weeks? Is it going to be blood work every, 3 months, every 4 months? It's just something that has to be, worked out and understand why you're doing it so you can see what it is you're targeting and then guide, okay, here are my symptoms now. Here are my symptoms in the middle. Here are my symptoms in the end. And are these biologics working, and how much, capital do I need to, raise to get this, life-saving, life-altering type of care? So that's just my thoughts this morning. That's what I wanted to talk about. As you know, I've made this big shift. I am like obsessed with the peptide space. I'm obsessed with the biologic space. I'm obsessed with, not supplements so much, but these sort of performance enhancing molecules that exist and have existed, but are just now catching on a lot more mainstream in the accessibility of like these gray market therapeutics are accessible. Do they cost money? Yes, of course. Do you need to be a millionaire? No. Do you need to determine what's important to you and how you're going to feel, how you're going to perform, how you're going to look? Yes. And then the ones that are just constantly rising to the top when it comes to people that have these autoimmune diagnosed conditions are these biologics. Look into them. It's incredible. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. It's Dr. Pearlman.